God, I've just listened to this whole podcast. It was terrible. I feel like my ears are gonna bleed.
What'd you say? This is Darby Allen, and you're listening to Give Me a Whole Yeah podcast.
Hello, and a very warm welcome
Hi.
to the Whole Yeah Wrestling Podcast. My name is Anne, and today I am joined by Dom in his car.
Yeah, I'm in my car. Yeah, well, I'm in a car. We're on the road.
You're on the road.
But I'm
on the road.
mortified. I wanted to do a live reaction of how mortified I am, Anthony, about Bray Wyatt's release from WWE. So because of that, I am on the road. I've made everybody's life really difficult because there's no way to hold my phone. I've got no headphones. I've got no microphone. This is raw, live Dom in the car, absolutely fuming because WWE have fired Bray Wyatt. They've let him go due to budget cuts, Anthony. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, Anthony. What the frick? This is ridiculous. Where's he going to go? Impact Wrestling? No, he's not going to go to Impact Wrestling. And he's probably not going to go to AEW because Tony Khan spent too much money on CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. The only way he's going to go, the only place he's going to go, Anthony, is WWE. I think this is a bloody hoax, just like Braun Strowman, right? They're going to bring Braun Strowman back. Did you know they've just released some new Braun Strowman merchandise on the flipping WWE store? They're going to do the same thing with Bray Wyatt. This is just to get Fiend fans like me riled up, right? One of the most creative, best gimmicks in the last decade. And they want to fire him, and everybody's talking on social media. Alexa Bliss is sad. Bronson Reed is sad. Swerve is sad. Everybody's bloody sad. And it would be nice if it was a swerve, if it was some kind of gimmick thing, unrelated to Swerve from NXT, who did tweet his sadness about Bray Wyatt being fired. If there was a swerve, it'd be nice to let the talent know, like Alexa Bliss, so that she wouldn't have to post a big sad post about how gutted she is. Like, it'd be nice to let the talent know that it's just a work. And so I was talking to Emma on the way. Sorry, I'm a little bit flustered, Anthony. Very tired after doing SmackDown. Very, very knackered after doing SmackDown.
I can understand it.
Like, yeah, knackered. Right, me and Emma were talking. Right, Emma's there. Look at her. Look at how beautiful. Wow. Right, Emma was saying, right, that she thinks it's like a ploy by WWE for because obviously Daniel Bryan and CM Punk have been signed by AEW to get some eyes back on WWE. And you know what, man? I'd love to believe that. I would love to believe that, Anthony. You know, it makes sense because they're probably bringing Braun Strowman back. You talked to me off air. You said to me, "Oh, well, where's Braun Strowman going to go?" And I think the same way about Bray Wyatt. Where else is he going to go, Anthony? I'm absolutely mortified. I don't know, like, the best gimmick of the last decade in The Fiend, the most interesting gimmick of the last decade, and they've let him go.
Yeah.
I am mortified. I was out with Emma, and I remember she came out of the bathroom, and I just had my phone, and I was like, what is going on? What is this? I was absolutely shocked. I am still, as you can see with my very tired eyes, you can see, and also the pores on my nose, getting a close-up there, close-up Dom face.
I consoled you.
Yeah, Emma had to console me. I was absolutely mortified, Anthony. Again, one of the most, if not the most, creative force in WWE that hasn't been written for and provided. Obviously, everybody's written for. I know Bray Wyatt does a lot of his own promos and a lot of his own work. One of the most creative forces in WWE in the last 10 years. What are they doing, Anthony? What possible reason could they have? Answer me that question. What possible reason could they have for firing Bray Wyatt?
Well, budget cuts, and there's nowhere else for the characters to go. Let's break it down a little bit, Dom. So, for those of you that haven't heard the news, Bray Wyatt has been released from WWE. He has been wished well on his future endeavors in the generic tweet that they always send out. Yes, I think Bray Wyatt was a massive missed opportunity from WWE. You know my feelings on Bray Wyatt. I think they absolutely fluffed him several times, and I think that this is part of them acknowledging that. And I did say to you a while ago, I believe that that Bray will be gone within the next few years, and it happened a lot sooner than expected. And one of the things that you said at the time was obviously merchandise. He sells merchandise, so they can't let him go. But my issue with it is, and my issue with your sort of theory of them doing this to cause a fuss and cause a stir and get people talking, is actually the Fiend doesn't need that. The Fiend as a character coming back causes people in the wrestling world to talk because people are intrigued whether they're going to mess it up, whether they're going to do it. And that was the one thing that the Fiend always had working to it for him. I was always intrigued by the Fiend. But actually as a gimmick, I don't think it necessarily worked because WWE fluffed it up, man.
Yeah. I mean, WWE didn't do what they could. Obviously, I think it was Aleister Black who said, or Tommy End said in the stream, that apparently WWE have ruined he had a lot of creative ideas, and WWE were the ones that sort of told him he couldn't do things and shouldn't do things. You know what I mean? So there's actual evidence there from somebody that would know in Tommy End that WWE were the ones that really squashed the gimmick when Bray Wyatt was very creatively involved in the early goings and really contributed to that popularity. And my concern is, and Emma brought this up as well, my concern is that they've given it to Alexa Bliss to cash in on the kind of creepy weirdness sort of vibe of the Fiend, but it was really Bray's mission and really Bray's Bray's vision that WWE have destroyed.
Yeah, and I do think it's sad. And the thing that you're saying about them releasing the performer to create a buzz is not fair on the individual. And any company that does that is right, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that is what I want to believe. I want to believe that he's showing up. I think he was due back on Raw the 16th of August was the one he was supposed to come back on. It could still happen. I mean, for a big payday, WWE Bray would return and could return, but of course that doesn't really go.
I don't think that's happening because this news wouldn't be said as it was. So.
Well, of course the budget cuts. Yeah, the budget cuts wouldn't have been said. So, but I'm concerned about what he's going to do. Again, my favorite wrestler of the last decade since Mick Foley, since Mankind. One of the most interesting and intriguing characters. I'm absolutely mortified. I look like I'm about to cry because I'm very, very tired. But honestly, I am quite emotional. And if Emma wasn't here to give me a cuddle, I may have actually cried. You forget, Anthony. You forget Brody Lee passed away. You forget Brody Lee passed away, right? When Brody Lee
don't forget.
Those two were best. Well, you didn't forget, but in terms of a lot has been said about Bray Wyatt's mental health after that. They were best friends. Brody Lee passed away because of a heart condition, I believe it was. Over the COVID-19,
lungs, I think.
Lungs. Over the COVID-19 pandemic, Bray took it really hard, and actually it's documented he took time away to grieve for his friend.
Understandable.
And he was returning. He was due to return. Apparently, I don't know who. I think it was Dave Meltzer who has also confirmed since the firing that he was preparing for a return. He was preparing for a return. He was ready to go. There was a picture that came up that a fan took in a supermarket, I believe, with him a couple of days ago.
You look fantastic.
Yeah, looking in the best shape of his life. Clearly returning. But what's a bigger conversation here, Anthony, is a WWE being mindful of their superstars' mental health.
Absolutely not.
Bray Wyatt came back for WrestleMania to be, to lose to Randy Orton. He did the yeah on the top of the box before diving off onto Orton as a tribute to Brody Lee. And it's documented that he does need he did take some more time off for his
I think it's very difficult for us to speculate on his mental health, and I don't think that's necessarily something we should do because it's not something that he's released himself. So let's move away from that slightly. But in terms of the company treating the wrestler like that, it's completely unfair, and it's not the first time it's happened. Look at what they did to Mickie James. I think the shocking thing is obviously this and sort of Braun Strowman were in the title picture in the last year, and I think that this is going to really disenfranchise a lot of WWE fans, Dom.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I think you're right. I mean, I am, you asked me if I was going to do Raw on Monday. when we did the phone call to sort of set this up, part of me doesn't want to, but obviously we're trying to grow our channel. We're trying to get to, we're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to build it, but it doesn't make me want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, we are fans of wrestling before we're a YouTube channel. Yes, I want to get subscribers up. Yes, I want to introduce more people to us. But my enthusiasm for doing Raw was partly influenced by the return of Bray, waiting for that, and I will do Raw because I want to put effort into this channel. But again, very little. And I got to tell you, man, I'm excited about Daniel Bryan. I'm excited about CM Punk. I'm excited about Darby Allin. I'm excited about Sting. I'm excited about MJF. I'm excited about.
You're naming AEW now.
I'm excited about Hangman Page, and that tells me something.
Well,
I don't even watch AEW. You watch AEW on Wednesdays. The most exciting gimmick. I'm trying to think of one. The Alexa Bliss thing, but that was, of course, the Bray Wyatt's before it was Alexa Bliss's. Is the thing that I'm interested in. The only other thing I could say, but that's as an objective wrestling fan, is Roman Reigns. But I'm not a fan of Roman Reigns. I appreciate his artistry and what he's doing, and so that I'm interested in as an objective wrestling sort of. I guess as a wrestling YouTuber, as a wrestling channel, I'm interested in that. But as a fan,
good work.
As he is. That's what I mean. But a lot of this is objective. Is me being objective as a wrestling YouTuber, going, okay, I can appreciate Roman Reigns right now. I can appreciate Cesaro. I can appreciate these athletes. But very little, Anthony, is catering to me as a fan. Is appealing to me as a fan. Something that gets me excited. Really interested in the products, and that was the Fiend for me, and that was what, in the same way that Mick Foley did that and carried my, Mick Foley, was that for me before, and so that's sad because the only other things, so I'm interested in Sting. I'm interested in Darby Allin. I'm interested in MJF. I'm interested in the return of Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. And that's all AEW stuff. That's all AEW stuff, man. And that's concerning to me as someone that watches WWE on a weekly basis, on Give Me a Whole Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And like I say, I think they absolutely fluffed up the Fiend gimmick. Absolutely. It was silly. It was stupid. It was in a universe where the Fiend didn't belong. And it become completely redundant. Whereas actually they had something really interesting there from the start. And I do hope that Bray Wyatt can go somewhere. I don't know where that is, and I hope whatever he does, he's happy and can continue to grow his family, etc., etc. And but that's the real concern. Like, the mental health of these performers. Like, it doesn't seem fair on WWE doing stuff like this. It's not. Yeah. It's not right. I mean, Bray Wyatt has put a lot of work in.
Especially if they're going to bring them back. You look at Zelina Vega.
I don't think they're going to and they did with Zelina Vega. But and then what are they doing with Zelina Vega? Absolutely nothing. And actually, WWE has a larger problem, which is creative. I want to get to a question because Tom Talks Rubbish has asked us a question, and if anyone has a question for us, please do leave it in chat. Tom Talks Rubbish. My question is: do you think Nick Khan watches the program or just picks the name out of a hat of who to release?
It's a great question. Tom Talks Rubbish, of course. Everybody check out his channel if you get a second. I don't think that he does watch the project. He's thinking about numbers. He's thinking about saving. He's thinking about saving money, and he's thinking about numbers. And obviously he thinks that Alexa Bliss is the new Fiend and can carry that gimmick on. I don't think he watches the product. I think he's thinking about numbers, and he's looking at how many Lily dolls are being sold on the shop. And let me tell you, whatever we think of the Lily and Alexa Bliss gimmick, a lot of those dolls have started to sell.
Dude, Alexa Bliss could be next with the way that this is going. I don't think it's names out of a hat. I think that Bray was obviously paid a lot of money for his work that he did, which was excellent in terms of character creation and stuff like that. And I certainly think he was an asset to any company that had him. The problem with someone like WWE is they like to stamp down their creative hammer on people and don't let them explore the characters and stuff like that in a sensible way. The biggest problem with WWE should be spending a lot of money right now on writers. They should be getting people that can tell stories, that can engage us as fans, and they are not doing that. And I've been disenfranchised with WWE since WrestleMania. I didn't even want to watch WrestleMania this year. And,
we did one night, didn't we?
We did one night, and since then, I haven't watched a WWE pay-per-view in full. I started watching, was it Backlash, and then the zombie thing happened, and it's just, I'm completely disenfranchised as a wrestling fan with WWE at the minute, and also seeing the way that they're treating the talents. I don't agree with. I don't agree that self-employed performers should be forced to not be able to do stuff online and stuff like that. I think that as a company, that's the type of stuff that I completely disagree with, and it's hard for me to engage with the product knowing the difficulties that the performers are having. And I think that's really sad. In terms of AEW, I mean, it's up to AEW. My problem, and I said this with Brian and Punk as well to you, Dom, personally, and I said it on stream a few times. My problem with it is AEW is stacked, man. It's got so many people. And when you've got 7 segments a night, like, you had CM Punk, you've got another segment. You had Daniel Bryan, whatever he's doing, you've got another segment. You've got Sting, Kenny Omega, and the others. It's so stacked at the minute. It feels quite bloated. I mean, I'd love to see. Oh, hello.
Sorry, I'm still here. I'm just trying to.
I thought the Fiend had wiped you out or something, man.
There you go. Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you've got a very overwhelming voice, so I'm lowering the sound a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. So for me, it's quite stacked, and I think that it'd be great to sort of leave him away for a while and bring him back in a year or something like that to AEW, WWE, or what have you. But I think it's sad. But I did say to you that I think this will happen because WWE's creative and booking of the Fiend Bray Wyatt was causing them more issues than it was good. It was all over the place. Fans were booing after that WrestleMania match because it was garbage. It was garbage, and it does make you wonder. Well, who's next? You know, we've seen a lot of these releases happen quite recently. Oh, there we go. But this is the other problem, Dom. Right? Is it right for WWE to be investing in these old stars as opposed to creating new stars? And Bray Wyatt was absolutely ripe for that. At one point, when the Fiend first came out, he could have been Goldberg, man. You should have gone over Goldberg.
It's not just Goldberg. It was the whole booking of him. It was garbage.
Yeah.
But the problem is, WWE are not creating new stars. Who is stepping up to the position of Bray Wyatt?
Well, this is it, isn't it? We'll have to find out. Well, somebody, someone like Bronson Reed coming up from NXT or something. You know, they're going to try. They're going to push somebody. Karrion
But it's
Kross.
a rotating door.
Maybe they're going to do maybe they're going to have Carrie, can't have
Karrion Kross that lost to Jeff Hardy.
Well, exactly. Or maybe they're going to, start doing Jeff Hardy, maybe they're going to start doing fiendy stuff with Jeff Hardy. Who knows, man? But anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I'm absolutely mortified. I am so angry. I'm so angry. I'm sad for him. I'm angry as someone that has to sit through 3 hours of Raw. Someone that has to watch this product, and again, yes, we're as wrestling YouTubers, as objective wrestling YouTubers, Anthony, we should watch the product, as an all-round thing, and I absolutely will continue to do that because that's garbage. What I believe. That's what I believe this channel is for. Yeah, but
it's garbage.
Well, it is. But what I mean is, Anthony, before I because I've got to go. But I think that at the end of the day, man, Bray Wyatt, he's a wonderful talent, and whether he ends up in Impact or AEW or back in WWE in a year's time, the company will be better for it. So I hope that Bray finds happiness and success wherever he chooses to go.
Absolutely.
But I was genuinely shocked by this news. I will talk about it more briefly. Tomorrow we're doing a Labyrinth watch along with me and Jay.
Are you doing Raw on Monday?
I'll be doing Raw on Monday, yes.
So if you want to hear more of Dom's opinions on this, and clearly he's quite passionate about it, I'm sure you can view that on Monday, and he'll be speaking about that a lot more. VT's got a really good question. Welcome, VT. Hope you did. What does release mean? It means that he's been released from the company, so he's been fired from the company. And no doubt in WWE fashion, he'll have a 90-day no-compete clause, which means he can't compete with any other company for 90 days, as well as limited press and stuff like that. And then he's free to do what he wants. So he's basically being fired from WWE in its easiest sort of terms of explaining. Yeah, is Bo Dallas still there, by the way?
Bo Dallas is gone. He went quietly, but he started a real estate business with Liv Morgan. So he's doing just fine. He's decided to go another way with his life, and that's great for the family, for the Rotunda family. But whatever Bray does, I wish him all the best, and I hope that he is as creative anywhere he goes, as he has been in WWE, and I'm sure he'll be a great asset, whether we see him again in 3 months' time or 6 months' time or 2 years' time.
He might not never wrestle again as well. I mean, there's that as well. But he's got to do whatever's right for him and choose the right option.
We can't say, but as a Fiend fan and somebody that loved that project, that gimmick, I wanted to come on and say, just raw, quite literally, no pun intended. I'm sat here in Emma's car. We're on the way somewhere, and I thought, I just wanted to get my thoughts out. I've seen a couple of other reaction videos on YouTube, and different people have reacted. I want it to be a dream. I want it to be a funhouse thing, where we suddenly Raw, he suddenly shows up and he's worked everybody and he comes out of the funhouse. But I don't think that's going to happen. And
it's not.
And I hope whatever he does is, he excels, and I'm sure he will. He's a very creative individual. But Anthony, I will leave you to the chat, and thank you for having me on very briefly, live and in color from the wrestling car. And I will. We've got the wrestling kitchen, we've got the wrestling spare room, which I'll be in tomorrow, and we've got the wrestling car now. So yeah, we can do videos from the wrestling car. So there you go. Sorry
before
about
you go.
What was that?
Before you go, I see Bray go. Jake says, I see Bray going to AEW and joining Dark Order to finish the job Brody started. Thoughts? Whatever he does, I hope he's happy.
I would love that. Personally, I would love it. I would love that. I think it's it's a lovely idea. I think Evil Uno shot it down already on Twitter though. But it's a lovely idea. I think that'd be great. But whether they do that is another matter. So
thanks very much. I'm going to stay and answer some comments and questions. Take it easy, my dude.
Take it easy, dude. Hell yeah. Bye.
Oh yeah, brother. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for staying with me. Oh, I need to lift myself up a little bit. Thank you so much for Dom for joining us as well. He's a massive Fiend fan, so I knew that it would be... that's what I said to him. I know he was really busy tonight. He was actually driving to somewhere. But I said, look, we should really get your reaction. And I'm sure that the people that watch the stream would enjoy seeing... Not enjoy seeing his reaction, because obviously it's a very sad thing. But enjoy seeing Dom's 2 cents on it, really, before it's sort of because you'll be watching loads of people doing these reactions over the next few days, I'm sure. In terms of what you're saying, Jakey, baby, and Lovey, thank you so much, everyone that's been asking questions. Dom was sort of a bit busy, so he's I wanted to sort of go through it as quick as we could, but I see Bray going to AEW and joining Dark Order to finish off the job Brody started. There's a story there, Jake. There's a story there. I'd love to see... Here's the other thing, right? WWE still own The Fiend. Bray Wyatt will own The Fiend. They could quite happily cast someone else as Bray Wyatt. It sounds absolute freaking garbage, right? It sounds like absolute junk. It sounds like something that I have zero interest in watching. But it also sounds like something that WWE could potentially do. Let me know what you think. Any more questions, please point them this way. Janelle, thank you. Lovely to see you all, man. When is WWE going to say enough is enough with the budget cuts? They're not. I think they might be getting ready for a big sale. If the product's high and they've got less costs, and it makes it look more fruitful for them. But it is just sad that we've lost any of the performers that we've lost, And when we know how much potential they've got, Bray Wyatt, when it first came out, I was invested in it. I was interested in it. I couldn't wait to see what they did. And what they did was supernatural garbage that didn't really work. And there's a place for supernatural, but it become obscene. It become ridiculous. Alexa is likely on the endangered list, but so much. Yeah, anyone in the company is on the endangered list. And as someone that I don't believe that anyone should feel like that as a self-employed person. It's scary. And the thing about Dom was saying about like releasing him to bring him back, like the potentially doing with Braun Strowman, like they did with Zelina Vega, is no way to behave to your employees. That's just sick. It's just sick at playing with people's emotions, and there's no need for that. Like, we're all human at the end of the day, and we all need support and care, and doing that is not supporting or caring for your performers. I'm ashamed I'm off to Mania. Dude, you'll enjoy it. I'm sure there'll be something good there, I hope. Anyway, AEW stats. but on 4 shows. Yeah, I mean, it's stacked on 4 shows. Like, you know, I feel like Dark and Thingy is going to become more of the house show sort of things where we're going to see the performers that we're not seeing on TV. And I worry about people like Joey Janela and stuff like that, who I want to see as performers. I enjoy them as performers, you know. Not very nice fans blaming Alexa Bliss on Twitter. Seriously, Will Rallis. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. On Twitter, it's her fault he's released. Isn't very nice. Leave her alone. Be nice. She said nice things about Bray on Twitter. That's freaking ridiculous. It's not Alexa Bliss's fault. It's the creative's fault that Bray Wyatt wasn't working as they wanted him to work, and now they're looking at budget cuts. It's got nothing to do with Alexa Bliss. She's just an employee in the exact same situation as the rest of them. And yeah, people should absolutely leave Alexa Bliss alone. She's doing what she can with the character in the exact same way that Bray Wyatt did, working under the limitations of working under an 80-year-old man who doesn't really is in sad. I would love to see him in Impact. I think he could do something similar to Fiend Released. Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, whatever he does, I mean, I just want him to be happy. Whatever he does, whether that's wrestling, no wrestling, creating family, you know, enjoying time with the Rotunda family, you know, whatever that is. Just hope he enjoys himself, because it seems like he's had a rough time, as well as personal issues that we all go through, and he needs support, you know. Saudi shows are next, I hope. What Saudi shows? Oh, yeah, well, again, that's what the Saudi shows are all about. Money, Jackie, baby. AEW, baby. All Elite Mike, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much. I mean, I personally wouldn't want it. It's not that I don't think there's value in Bray. I think there's absolute value in Bray, and I think that this is a shocking release. I just think that AEW's stacked. Like, if you're going to do it in a year and actually give him the space to be able to do what he needs to do. But at the same time, saying it starts, to still managing to tell them stories every week and engage myself as a wrestling fan and the people that join me for the AEW live streams. So thank you very much. I'm sad for Dom too. Yeah, he's upset. Jesus Christ, he called me the other day. He's just bought a bloody turtle and called it the Fiend. He said, "Oh, guess what my turtle's called? Leonardo? No. Donatello? No. Michelangelo? No. Raphael? No. I don't know, Tom. The Fiend." WWE is done with wrestling. They'll let AEW have the stars. Yeah, and WWE's problem is they're not creating new stars, and that's part of the shocking thing of this Bray Wyatt thing, is that they were primed to have a superstar there, and as fans, we all wanted to see it, and it never happened. Sad. What does the release mean? That Nick is putting profit before people? Potentially could mean lots of things. So. Yeah, he's certainly not looking after people. I assume Bray was being paid a lot of money, so sad, really sad. But at the same time, they're making a lot of money. They've got a $3 billion Peacock deal. You know, they're making more than enough to be able to pay people if they need to pay people. AEW let him in. Oh, yeah. There we go. So get that tweeted, Jack. That'd be fun. Make a picture of that. That'd be really good. Bray Wyatt on some indie shows will be effing sweet, says All Elite mate. Whatever Bray Wyatt wants to do is entirely up to him, as long as he is happy. Dom has messaged me and said it's a tortoise and not a turtle. So I should have known it wasn't Raphael or Michelangelo. Now WWE employ Wyatts. No, they don't. No, it's sad. The wrestling car, give me a hell yeah, mobile. Absolutely, brother, yeah. If Bray keeps Brody's work going, that's a huge honor. It absolutely is. And we'll have to see if that's what he does. I don't like to speculate too much, because I just see what happens, you know. I think it's exciting. I think that WWE was actually holding Bray down, and the longer that the Fiend character stayed on our screens, the more disenfranchised people were going to get with it, and I think that that's a real danger. I think people were certainly starting to do that with Bray, and if you look at like the last thing of Bray, it was him losing at WrestleMania, which people didn't like, you know. Observing stuff says, "Oh yeah, good. He got something stuck in his throat. Doesn't Rotunda own the Fiend's mask look legally? I doubt it because Tom Savini signed it, so I'd assume that was paid for by WWE. Budget cuts to sell to NBC. They can't be making the money. They are making the money. They're absolutely making the money. But in terms of what Jack said, budget cuts to NBC, they're making money because they have they have a $1 billion Saudi contract. They have a $1 billion Peacock contract. I think they're looking at selling the company, possibly to Disney or something like that. And then we'll see how many people stay and are engaged with it. And as long as your questions keep coming, guys, I'll stay live as long as you are. So please hit them questions in the comments if you've got anything you want my take on. And can be cut do wrestlers performance arts and can be cut. Come back to do wrestlers performance arts. Right. So what Jack's talking about is unions and the whole idea of unionizing wrestling. It's slightly different in America than it is here. And because the politicians are not necessarily pushing this as much as it should be pushed, because I absolutely believe that this should be able to be unionized. I believe everyone should be able to be unionized because people need protection from their employers. And it's also a really great way of sparking debate between employees and employers. Can they do the wrestlers performing arts? Absolutely. Back to British, I believe. But they've got the Screen Actors Guild, which is what people are looking at more in America. So we'll see, man. I think it'd be interesting, and I think it'd be good for the wrestling community if it did. Sorry for plugging this. You don't have to apologize. Tom talks rubbish, but he doesn't really talk rubbish. He's a lovely fella. Check him out. Check out his channel. You don't need to apologize for that. It's all good. But he has done an interview with Dom, which is going to be on tomorrow night. And he's discussed Bray Wyatt as well, and he has a rant about the situation on his channel. He's out now, so go check out Tom Talks Rubbish. Gav, well, thank you for joining us right from the start, man. Do you think Bray would go to AEW? I remember watching his dad, Mike, wrestling on WWE and WCW. Mike Rotunda. Yeah, I mean, he could. I think he would. I don't know. It's up to Bray what he needs to do. Like, he needs to find his happiness again, whatever that is. And stuff like this, man, getting fired from a place of work is a serious blow to anyone's sort of well-being. And ultimately, like, whatever he does, whether he might create music, he might go into TV, he might start writing. I don't know. I just hope he finds happiness in whatever he's doing. And if that's in wrestling, I hope he finds his happiness again, you know. And a place like AEW would be great for him. I think in terms of like letting him be creatively free and able to like look at the depth. So here's the thing. So we have like on AEW this week, we have MJF making a callback to the Guerrera comment that was made 2 years ago when Jericho said to Google his name and he's fighting him next week, and they brought it up. That's called continuity. That's called taking a situation and not letting it be completely forgotten. It's about creating a universe that exists within itself, and you can make reference to that universe, and it's not just a case of we'll forget it hasn't happened. I think AEW potentially have maybe done that with the exploding barbed wire match, but apart from that, I don't think they've forgot about anything, and there's no reason why that couldn't come up again as well, and AEW wouldn't be afraid to make reference to it, I don't think. So yes, I think that something like AEW with a continuity behind it, because let's be perfectly honest, that's part of what the Fiend was missing as well. When he lost that match to Goldberg and that disenfranchised so many fans, it was about the continuity. Like, it makes no sense for this monster to be on a tearing streak and then lose to this old guy so that you can set up a match at WrestleMania. It just garbage, you know. Saudi shows are next to be cut. I hope they. I mean, oh no, yeah, they won't. They're worthless creatively and but by the bookers. Absolutely a waste of time, Jackie boy. I agree. Guys, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up the chat. So if you want to join me on stream, you absolutely can. I'm going to post a link in the description. If you want to join me and give your 2 cents, we quite happily will. Yeah, the Saudi shows ain't going because it's just money. It's just money. And while it's absolute garbage, and this is part of my problem with WWE, there's no care about storytelling or the fans anymore. It's all just here's the same match 50 times. Yeah. Jackie Worrell, welcome, Jackie. How are you doing? Lovely to see you. It seems like WWE get rid of most of the talented wrestlers, almost as if the company is scared of them. Shame, because we are left with wrestlers like Bobby Lashley, who is so boring to watch. Jackie, thank you for joining us. A wonderful comment there. Interesting, yeah, and I get what you're saying about Bobby Lashley. The thing is, I don't necessarily think it's him that's boring to watch. It's the creative around Bobby Lashley. If there was a story that was engaging there, then we can be engaged. And Bobby Lashley may not be the best promo in the world, but look at him. I mean, he's a physical bloody specimen, you know? And actually, if there was to invest that time in telling a story and creating a universe around Bobby Lashley that we can either get behind or push back from, it'd be a great way to sort of get him involved, I think. I'm going to go through a few more comments, and then we've already got someone that's joined us live on stream, so we'll get their take on it. King Lex, I just hope if he continues with wrestling, he gets full creative control over himself. Absolutely. Absolutely, King Lex. A really good comment there. That is what we want. I mean, the argument against that, though, King Lex, as well, would be, I think Miro, when went to AEW, I think he got creative control. And I don't think that character necessarily worked. So I think it's about creative control, but a negotiation. And it's about people looking at it and going, what makes sense for this character? What makes sense for this story to develop? What do we want to see coming out of this? And that's what I sort of mean by creative control. And maybe that's what you sort of mean as well. It needs to be a negotiation because our ideas are not always the right ideas as well. Cool. I'm going to get to a couple more comments and then I'm going to invite someone on the stream. The link is in the comments. So if you want to, you just need a phone and a microphone, and come and join me and get your sense of it. Danielson and Punk, my body is ready. Interesting, Jack. And I think we'll talk about that in 1 second. Remind me, Jack. It seems like WWE get rid of most of the talented wrestlers, almost as if the company is scared of them. Shame, because we are left with wrestlers like Bobby Lashley. Phoenix, Jackie, are you the same person? That seems like a copy and paste job. That's like you thought I might not see it on Facebook, but I did. And then I read it. And then you come back on YouTube and mention the comment again. But thank you. Leave a like on the video. It really helps us out. I'm going to bring my boy Jackie on. Keep hitting your questions up and we'll go for as long as we can. Let's just hear a little bit about Jack's opinion. Everybody, this is You Don't Know Jack. Welcome, dude.
Ow.
What did you do?
Sorry.
That was the worst entrance since.
That was the biggest botch on this channel since any Dom stream.
Absolutely. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm well. I was about to say I'm good, but that's not really appropriate right now, is it?
No, it's sad, man. How are you feeling about it all?
Oh, I'm really like, if in my opinion. Well, first, give a bit of context. I was just because I didn't get a lot of sleep. I was more doing Gimme Hoya and Respiratory last night.
Yeah.
So I didn't get too much sleep. So I was awake for a bit, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll have a nap." Yeah, fair enough. And then I woke up. First thing I do is look at my phone, and my phone is basically on the verge of exploding. With Bray Wyatt stuff. I just sent a random tweet out and said, what's going on? And within a minute, I've got about 7 replies. And
right.
I just think there can be no argument now. Nick Khan is just, assuming this is Nick Khan, I'm pretty sure it is, though. He's dropped the ball big time on this.
Yes. I mean, but it's not just Nick Khan, though. It has been okayed by Vince. And ultimately, that's because everything's okayed through Vince. And ultimately, that's because they either had no plans for him or they didn't know what they were going to do with him or what have you. And I think that's really sad. You mentioned Danielson and Punk, my body is ready. One of the things that I wanted to say about that, Jack, is I was talking about this to someone else today, and I know you're a massive CM Punk fan. Is what are the biggest moments in WWE over the last 10 years?
Well, that's the thing, because what year are we on now? 21.
So
we're just coming up to 10 years since Summer of Punk ended, so...
I mean, you're talking in the last sort of 10 years, the most engaging sort of stories that have crossed platforms and stuff like that. It wasn't The Rock returning and all this sort of stuff. It was CM Punk's pipe bomb, which made it globally. It was Daniel Bryan's Yes movement, which became a sports brand, and the Undertaker breaking his streak. And AEW now have two of them massive moment creators. And I sort of mentioned that because they are sort of taking that momentum and potentially, if they allow them to create it. And the thing with CM Punk is they were the ones, and Daniel Bryan is they were the ones that created that moment. So I just wanted to mention that with your comment there.
Well, it always things to me that the official story is that with WrestleMania in 2014, that was always WWE's intent. It wasn't. It clearly was. And anyone can see that it was going to Orton Batista at WrestleMania. And then Bryan happened. And allegedly Punk basically did write the Summer of Punk. It was pretty much copy-paste of the ROH Summer of Punk from years before, but still.
Yeah, no, not good. If they do sell, this is what Jack said in chat. If they do sell, Disney are an obvious choice, but they've said that they don't want to do big buys for a bit after Lucasfilm, Marvel Films, Fox, and National Geographic. I'd guess NBC will buy as Vince is friends with Dick Ebersol, who owns NBC. So that's why you think. Is that why you think these releases are happening, Jack?
Absolutely, yeah. Vince. I wouldn't say he doesn't get on with Triple H as in business terms, but that we know there has been a bit of friction between the two of them, and I think he might be going, well, I mean, Vince does work harder than anyone. He's the absolute demon, but he probably knows that there's not a lot of years left in him for us, so he's probably thinking the easiest and possibly most profitable course he can take is give it to NBC.
Yeah,
giving him I think it's $3 billion a year or something like that.
Yeah,
definitely a lot.
I think so, and I agree with your comments. I don't know if it'll be Disney. I don't know who it'll be, but it seems like they're setting the company up for some sort of big sell, which is why they're sort of releasing this talent, in my opinion. But that is just my opinion. Jackie boy, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to take you off, and you're welcome. And everyone thank Jack in chat. He's a wonderful moderator. He does such a wonderful job, and he will be in chat. So send him some love. Send him some love. All right, thanks, Jackie boy. We'll see you in a minute. I do have someone else ready to join the stream, but I'm just going to go through a couple of comments beforehand, if that's okay. Just wondering who WWE will release next, says Gav. I mean, I hope no one, but I mean, you never know, do you? Sad, really sad. What's your Twitter? I'd love to have you on my channel one day. My Twitter is give me a hull yeah. I'm also at Anthony Nailon, I think, which is I don't really do Twitter. I hate stuff like that. But Tom is going to join us on stream in 1 second. If you do want to join us on stream, I will send the invite into the chat once more. It'd be great to hear your opinions on the Bray Wyatt story. Malachi Black knows about continuity. Absolutely. And hopefully WWE allow him to do that. Sorry, AEW. Jesus Christ, call me Jim Ross. I met Bray once. He's one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. I imagine, Gav. I imagine. A lot. I work with a lot of people who are famous for some reason, and yeah. He seems it. If you wanted to join us again, sorry, I was just going through a couple of comments. Tom talks rubbish, but if you want to join me again, you absolutely can, my dude. Sarah, welcome. Hope you're having a good day. I don't know what, but I feel there's a bigger agenda, be it lighting the load before selling the company or releasing people to create better competition with AEW, etc. Yeah, I think that's my feelings as well, as I've sort of made clear, I think. Terrible news. Bray is so talented. WWE is on its way out. It's on a downward trend, and it's not going anywhere for a long time, but it is on a downward trend, and we can't deny that. Good to see you, Sarah. Yes, absolutely. Gav, I'm looking forward to Jericho versus Weventud. I need to learn how to say his name before Wednesday, don't I? Yes, me too, man. It should be fun. And I'm more looking forward to the MJF and Jericho match, because what they're doing is they're building all of this up. And I think it's going to be wonderful how, when they get to that match, because they're very clever wrestlers, both Jericho and MJF, I think we're going to get a lot of references to this build. So I think part of the match will have someone with a pizza cutter, etc., as an example. Someone, chair shots to reference back to the Sean Spears thing. So I think they're clever enough to do that, and I think that's exciting. Something tells me Alexa is going to get some seriously unwanted fan backlash now. Unfortunately, we have been told, Peter, that it has been happening on Twitter already. People having a go at Alexa. Look, hey, it's not Alexa's fault. Alexa is doing absolutely what she can with that character and is doing a fantastic job of doing something with that character. The issue is creative is all over the place with it, and the storytelling is garbage. That is not Alexa's fault, and we shouldn't be getting onto the performance. But I understand as well how passionate people get. Dom, as you saw on the stream earlier, didn't want to believe it. So... Tom, if you wanted to join back, you can, mate. It's entirely up to you. We've seen him as a great character. I would love to see him in a place like Japan to show his wrestling side. Thoughts? That's a really good question. And to help me answer that question, I've got the person that asked the question. It's Tom. How are you doing, Tom?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me, mate?
I can. Your mic is really crackly though.
Is it? Is that an issue for everyone else, or is that, I don't know?
There we go. I can hear you now.
It's probably because I was leaning too far back, just getting relaxed. How are you doing, Tom?
I am good, my man.
Good. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on the channel. I hear that you've got an interview with Dom on the channel soon.
Yeah, originally it was going to go out in a couple of weeks, but with the whole Bray Wyatt stuff tonight and the topic we covered, I felt like, it's got to go out tomorrow now.
Fair enough. Push it, man. Push it. That's great. And I'm sure Dom will give you a good interview. He's a good dude. My brother. Cool. So, a place like Japan. Why do you think Japan then, Tom?
Because we've seen him as a character. And don't get me wrong, he's great as a character. But I'd love to see what he can do as a wrestler a bit more, maybe.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was never a massive fan of Bray Wyatt matches. Dom will tell you, I have a lot of issues with Bray's matches, and I think part of that is a very limited moveset. I don't know if it. Sometimes I think there's a point where character can get in the way of a match. For
example, I'm trying to think of a match off the top of my head. But
Goldust, a lot of early Goldust matches. I think there was times where the character got too invested in the match, where it become Gaga.
What about with the Fiend? Even the whole Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell thing.
Absolutely, absolute garbage. And because we're watching it, going, "What is this crap?" This isn't wrestling. This is too far removed from the universe that it is. And I actually think Bray Wyatt is a talented performer in the ring in terms of what he does. But if you look at his moveset, it was very limited. It was a very, very limited moveset. And I actually think
because of the character. Do you think though?
No, I don't think so. I think that's WWE putting locks on him. And putting, if you look at a lot of WWE's performers, they have a very, very regimented moveset, and it's just the way WWE do. And they say, "Here, this is the creepy stuff that you're going to do."
It happened again. Your mic, by the way.
Has it? Hello, I'm back.
There we go.
So I just think I think it's WWE just doing it themselves. I think that they're the one that's putting the roadblocks in place.
This is exactly why I'd like to see him in a place like Japan or Ring of Honor. Because you could see his wrestling chops. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. We can see what wrestling chops he's got a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got the character stuff. Wonderful.
And we know he's got the character stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas you take someone like... trying to think of someone that's had a good character over the last little while.
Someone that's got a good character. Well, I mean,
That's only come out over the last little while.
Well, you look at AEW. You've got Hangman Page.
How fitting is this? Brody Lee.
Brody Lee, yeah, exactly. Brody Lee. There we go. There's a great example. Darby Allin. Darby Allin. I think it might be your signal, buddy. You're breaking up a little bit. You've got Darby Allin. You've got Adam Hangman Page. You've got all these sort of, but they're all AEW guys from the ones we've just named. And I think we've lost you, Tom. But it was lovely talking to you, Tom. And I'm going to leave your comment on as I go off. Thank you very much, my dude, for joining me. If you would like to see more from Tom, go to his YouTube channel, Tom Talks Rubbish. His name is just there. And tomorrow, an interview with Dom is coming out. They filmed that earlier today or yesterday. And it's going to be talking about Bray Wyatt just prior to his race. Mad that you've just filmed that. So go check him out. Please give him a subscribe as well. A wonderful channel. Sarah is laughing. Greetings from South Carolina. Danny, how you doing, man? Lovely to see you. Thank you so much. Greetings, my dude. Like I say, mate, let's go. If you've got any more questions, comments, write them down. I'll keep this going as long as you guys are chatting. That's all cool. I've just got tired of WWE of late, so I've gone to watching AEW and indie wrestling. Snap, Gav. 100% snap. I've lost complete interest in WWE. The build to WrestleMania this year, I lost interest. It didn't feel like a WrestleMania to me. And while I think that there was some good stuff on the card, I wasn't interested in staying up till X o'clock in the morning watching it instead. Yeah, but I'm still getting enjoyment out of wrestling, and that's the important thing. I think as well as a person, I've learned more about wrestling from watching Eve and AEW and other promotions, and realize what wrestling can be without the sort of gaga, and always try and look at it with a critical eye, you know. So yeah, great. Colan 420 Blaze it. Where's worse, Hull or Hell? Highway to Hull, I believe AC/DC said. Welcome, mate. Hope you're having a good day. Jack is awesome. Such a cool guy. He is great. Yeah. Thank you so much for giving Jack some support. It's great to have him on the channel, and he does a great job of moderating this channel and keeping it a safe place for us all. Matty D, welcome, my dude. Bray Wyatt actually managed to get some creativity over in WWE with his character work, despite Vince. So imagine what he could do at AEW, or maybe he could go in at Impact and help build them back up. Absolutely. And all these companies, I mean, they're all working together anyway. You know, Tony Khan seems to have done a really good job of making sure that the companies are working well together and booking together. So yeah, that's exciting. And Impact, I think, could be great. But it's entirely up to Bray. I just want him to be one happy dude. V, you're welcome, Jackie boy. Creative control means now with Vince. Brett had it in 97. Absolutely. But then also creative control can be the downfall of a company. WCW. So there has to be that to remember as well. You know, creative control, while it's something that we think we all want, doesn't always work. If not, we'd book ourselves to win the title every time. So just, kind of be mindful of that, I guess. Creative control is a really interesting debate, especially when it comes to Bray Wyatt. But it doesn't necessarily mean great. Does that make sense? I remember creative control in WCW. Look what... Gav. Great point. I just made that. You don't know, Jack. Dom was in bits. I really wanted to hug him. Yeah, he's upset. He's upset. And I'm sure there's a lot of people are. And if you wanted to see Dom's reaction, please go back to the beginning of the podcast. I've returned, Anthony. Welcome back. Brougham Gamer Lols. How you doing, my dude? Rumor have it that Braun is back. Yes. And I think that will give people more hope that the Fiend's going to come back. But whether that is the case or not, the company should not be doing that to self-employed people. They should be engaging with them and having an open and honest conversation, not saying, oh, you're out of a job. Go find work elsewhere. Oh, come on back. It's not right on people. But yeah, they are the rumors. Early 97, Kane backs up your get in the way point. And there we go. Yeah. Ant and the Fiend is modern 97 Kane. Yes, and Kane was a character that was done really well up to a point. And maybe the Fiend's gimmick was going that way. And maybe that's why they released him. Broham Gamers says the release breakers, they didn't have a storyline for him because he wasn't the Fiend anymore. Mate, the issue, dude, is like, there is stories to tell. It's just WWE doesn't have the writers to be able to do it. And, well, they have the writers, they're just not able to do it. And partly, I think, because someone's probably got control at the very top who's going, nah, not having it. Oh, no, we'll do this funny thing. Oh, Sheamus and Drew, that worked last week. Let's give it 20 more times. That's the problem. Bray had story. There was story in the Fiend character. It just wasn't very well told. I remember 7 that Dustin Rhodes was meant to be in WCW. That was a gimmick that Dustin Rhodes entered in. Dustin was in WCW. He was also in Impact as well, as was his dad. Yes, indeed, Dusty. I think Swamp match that like button. Yeah, it really helps us out if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. I'm going to put the StreamYard link up one more time. If there's anyone that hasn't been on that wants to voice their opinion about Bray, please feel like you can. This is a safe place, and it's great to hear your opinions. Let's go. Sorry about that. Internet is good. That's all right, my dude. No, it isn't good. That's all good. Don't worry about it, mate. I appreciate hearing your opinion, and you've stuff about Bray going to Japan and actually us being able to see him wrestle is engaging as a fan, and I'd love to see it. Yes, this makes me even more invested in AEW, and I'm a punk spooner. Yeah, me too. Isn't good. I still can't detach myself from WWE Network as the content is questionable. But mate, I'm like, why am I paying this £10 a month for this crap that I don't watch? I'm seriously like, I think I'm going to give it to SummerSlam, and if it's garbage, I'm just quitting. I'm quitting WWE. It's all good, Tom, but it is a bit very crap. Yeah, no, it's good. It was a great conversation. I'm sure we'll try it again at some point in the future. Would be fun to have Bray in the Dark Order. Yeah, I think everyone's going to head towards that, which is understandable. Blackheart Jared Weed, welcome. Hey, Ann, you've missed the majority of the podcast. But yeah, hope you're doing well. Lovely to see you again. Talking about Bray Wyatt's release right now. Any last questions? Hit them up in chat and we will get to them. I've got towards the end now. The only reason I have WWE Network is for old ECW and WCW. That's it. Yeah, I mean, that's why I got the network originally. Certainly to rewatch sort of some of the old stuff. But now I don't know if I've got a reason to own it. So why should I? You don't know, Jack says, if SummerSlam is garbage, safe bet it will be. Yeah, I'm genuinely thinking that, guys. Like, I don't see the point in me continuing my subscription to the network if I'm not actually going to use it. Broham Gamers, Anthony, I've hacked the system. I can just go into a WWE server on Discord and join a stream that someone is streaming WWE and just watch it, or on Twitch. Easy, says Broham. Easy. You've hacked the system, brother. You are in the Matrix. I'm going to bring back my friend Tom, who is going to come. He got cut off earlier, and we'll hear his points about Bray Wyatt wrestling in Japan. Tom, welcome back, my dude.
I think I've fixed it. Basically, I've got 2 Wi-Fi, and one the other, and I've connected to them now.
Tom, I hate to say this, but I didn't get most of that.
Is that even worse?
It is. And but the ironic thing is, the part of the conversation was you saying, "I think I fixed it."
Oh no! Is that any better?
Yeah, we'll see what we can get through, mate. If it goes out, I'll just have to remove it. But yeah, tell us a bit more about Japan, man. Your ideas with Bray in Japan.
As I say, just because we've seen him as a character, do you know what I mean? I'd
Yeah.
like to see him as a wrestler a bit more.
I agree completely, man. I absolutely agree. And the problem with the Fiend in WWE is the character and story. Not necessarily the character, because the character had some really interesting stuff in it, especially with like someone. Tom, what was the Fiend?
Say that again.
What was the Fiend?
it was a Joker ripoff.
Yeah, well, okay. What was the Fiend in relation to Bray Wyatt, Funhouse Bray?
Like
I hate to put you on the spot, but
in my opinion, it was the lighter side was the TV show host, and the dark side was the Fiend.
Okay,
WWE
so what?
Never explained that. That's just something that I conjured up in my head.
Absolutely, and this is my point. When we are having to create these wonderful stories in our head, it's not necessarily engaging as a story. We wasn't told what Bray's relationship was. I'd love to hear that in chat. What was Bray's relationship to the Fiend? What were they the same person?
Because I suppose that like Alexa Bliss was like Harley Quinn. I suppose.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, shut up, Alexa! Stop.
You can't say Alexa's name. Good.
I forgot about that.
Whoopsie daisy. Cool. No, I think that's a really interesting comment, but I'd also love to hear anyone else's. And any other thoughts on the Fiend before we I go back to comments?
As you say, like as everyone's been saying, my heart says I'd love him to go to AEW, but AEW is stacked right now.
Stacked, man. Stacked.
I think what he should do is almost do like a Cody tour. You know what Cody did when he was first released?
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Build up his name and then go to AEW with a gimmick or something.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And I think he just needs some time to be able to work out what he does. Don't forget, this guy has just lost his job with all these ideas that he's been working on for this character, and he's just gone now.
Wasn't he supposed to be back on this week's Raw?
Rumors are it was August the 12th or something, but the rumors aren't true because they got rid of him, ultimately. So
I still hold my comment that I put in the chat though.
Which
Nick
one?
Khan doesn't watch the product.
I think but the problem is, even if he's made the releases, Tom, Vince has okayed it.
Well, the way that I look at it, he wouldn't release Aleister Black if he did, because Aleister Black attacked Big E and then he was gone the next week.
But Aleister Black was garbage on main roster. I think that's half the issue, Tom. Like if Nick was watching SmackDown, like he's just been stuck in a room with people knocking on a door. And while we all know, I think I've lost Tom again. While we all know the creative mind and the excellent wrestler that Aleister Black is, once again, it's us as WWE fans filling in all the blanks. Does that make sense, Tom?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, great. Really interesting talking to you, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Tom, promote your channel before you go, my dude.
Well, basically, it's Tom Talks Rubbish, and as the name suggests, it's where my thoughts on wrestling, general life, and occasional interviews go up. If people want to have a look, that'd be amazing. I am so close to 400 subscribers. I'd love to hit it, but I just appreciate everyone's time.
Thank you so much, Tom. Really nice chatting to you, mate. And congratulations on the Adam Pacitti interview. I watched that as well, that you had on your channel. And for those of you that missed out before, Tom does have an interview with Dom, the not as sexy half of the Gimme a Whole Year Wrestling podcast. Cool.
Funny,
take it easy, Tom.
The same about you.
He's a prick. Right. Cheers, Tom.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye. Cool, rock and roll. To have you connected to a tree. Yeah, I think Tom had plugged his Wi-Fi into his refrigerator. WWE is just producing poor pay-per-views. Yes, it is, and that's why a pay-per-view is a moment in time. If you miss all the build-up to the pay-per-view, you should be able to watch a pay-per-view, and it's still engaging. I can go back and watch Canadian Stampede and love it still, both as a product and without following all the story. I get the story. I get told the story. WWE is producing poor pay-per-views at the minute, in my opinion. They've had COVID. I don't think the product they're bringing right now is going to bring fans back. And this is what's sad about Bray. He's gone. John Cena, Goldberg, they're all back. That's not creating new stars, people. You can watch it for free. Nice. Brohome Gamer has the hacks. They got rid of Bray, and Goldberg gets a title shot at Lashley. Injustice. Yeah, 100% blackout. 100%. AEW is a company where WWE is afraid to go. Vince tried to play often in the meeting. Ultimately, he said that he doesn't see them as competition in the same way that WCW was. Ultimately, they are a wrestling product, which is one of probably the 3 biggest in the world, along with New Japan, and are doing wonderfully exciting things. And their trend is upwards, and WWE's trend is downwards. And it's going to take a long time for WWE's money to run out, but a downward trend is never good. And the thing that WWE had when they put WCW out of business was creative geniuses. Even Vince, the Attitude Era, something engaging. What do you see them battling back at AEW with right now? There's nothing. Sorry, just my 2 cents. Matty D, if WWE... I'm going to put the link in chat one more time because we've still got a fair few people in. If you would like to join me, please hit the link below and we can bring you on stream and ask you some questions. How are you feeling about AEW? How are you feeling about Bray Wyatt? Excuse me. If WWE is being sold off, maybe someone could come in and buy the rights to WCW and resurrect it. Matty, I love the idea, mate. However, I do also sort of see AEW as a spiritual WCW. Obviously, it's back on TNT. Tony Khan was clearly a massive fan of WCW and pays a lot of homage to it, as well as having, Sting, who was one of the biggest stars on WCW. WWE dropped the ball releasing Bray. Absolutely, Elliot. Absolutely agree with you. Thank you all so much for joining me. Yeah, if you haven't already, like the video, it really helps us out. Lets more people join in the conversation, as well as subscribe for more wrestling content. This is what we try and do. We're trying to grow our little baby channel into something good, and we do a lot of watch alongs. Dom tends to do WWE, and I hang out at AEW. 100% agree. Well, wasn't Alexa the Fiend's boss? You see, we don't freaking know what the thing was with Bray, and that's the problem. WWE never told us, and this is why I ask you guys, like, what is Bray, right? Here we go. Here's another one. Sarah says, Bray was whatever we wanted, which created a multifaceted character, an air of mystery, and creating our own stories. Absolutely agree, Sarah. It does do that, but we wasn't given enough. Right, so a really good example of Bray's early use was when he did the Lizard Man promo, and he had Gina in the background, and there was talks of him getting a female, and everyone was talking about Liv Morgan being that person whose real name is Giovanna something. There was hints from WWE that this was going to happen, and we clearly know that they were invested in a female character because they've got one now. We're given these hints that it's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen, and it makes us all go, well, what was the point? You just told us something, and then we've looked into it and we've engaged with it as a community and found this out and looked at the masonry symbols that were behind it. Dom did a video on it years ago, and then it's not justified. It's sad. Yes, it does create a multifaceted character, but it also created a character with lots of holes, which can be picked apart. Would love to see WCW with Bischoff in charge and ECW with Heyman in charge again, mate. I mean, taking it back to the glory days of wrestling there, Gav. Love it. Phoenix Breeze. I remember back in the past watching Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, and the Four Horsemen on the NWA before the WWE came to be. And during the early days, talent like Bray were pushed forward, not released. A fantastic point, Phoenix. An absolutely fantastic point. I have nothing to say. I mean, it's exactly right, isn't it? Like, if you've got a talent like Bray, who's clearly a talent, push him to the moon, man. I know I'm a dinosaur. You are not a dinosaur, Phoenix. You are not a dinosaur. You are welcome here. I know I'm a dinosaur, but bring back those days. I really look forward to each week. Now it's take or leave it, or just watch the highlights. That's half the problem with WWE. Do you know how I watch WWE, guys? On YouTube. It takes me 10 minutes to decide which videos I want to watch in the morning, and I watch them to make sure that I'm up to date with the wrestling content that's happening in WWE. And I feel that is giving me just more amount of information than I need. And I don't always click on all the videos. There we go. And yes, I am the same one. Yes, you are, Phoenix. Corbin is being wasted in WWE. Another that AEW could use. Yeah, I mean, but AEW start, man. AEW start. Corbin's interested. Is interested. Okay, so we'll see what happens with him in the future. I think there's potential, definitely, for something where they're heading. Just counted, AEW has 96 wrestlers. That's not including Danielson, Punk, and AJ Lee. AJ Lee, are you adding names in there, Jackie boy? Names to the rumors. Great. Cheers for having me on first time on a call-in show. Is that something you do a lot? Yes, it is something I like to do. At the end of every one of my AEW watch-alongs, I like to have a call-in and just say hello to you guys and let you guys have your opinion across. And it's not been abused yet, which is fantastic. I hope it don't get abused, because then it'll have to be like, subscribe, like Patreon based or something like that. We'd have to end up doing, but hopefully it won't. There'll come a day it will. But yeah, man, it's something we do a lot. And then Dom does his watch-alongs. He tends to do them as well. So one thing I didn't mention, I'm gutted we won't see a Cena Wyatt interaction after Firefly Funhouse. Yeah, agreed. It is sad. It is very sad. That would have been interesting to have seen, but I'm not the biggest Firefly Funhouse fan. Oh, I can't say that. WWE just hasn't got the fight anymore, and AEW growing faster and faster. And that's McMahon is afraid of AEW produces great shows week after week, whilst WWE is literally on the ropes. Great point, Gav. I agree with you, man. I mean, AEW is producing a wonderful product. WWE is on a downward trend. I mean, it's as simple as that, really. In the UK, about 20,000 people watch WWE, whereas AEW is like getting 5 times that amount of number. I know that we tend to look at the ratings in America, but if you look at the ratings in the UK, Jesus, AEW is smashing them out of the park. Downward trend, man. And they've had COVID. They've had that as an excuse. They need to get the fans back. I don't see what they're doing to get the fans back. And this is going to alienate a lot of fans. It's alienated Dom. Guys, if you've just joined us, go back and watch the start of the video at the end of this. Dom is my podcast partner and is very passionate about this. Yeah, if you could like the video, it really helps. And yeah, excuse me. I am Peter Wales, not Lamp Eater Wales, the Eater of Wales. The new Bray Wyatt gimmick, the Eater of Wales. Unbelievable. I know. It is crap, mate. It is crap. Yeah, it's weird. It's bizarre. Not a dinosaur says you don't know, Jack. Watch some AEW is what Vince is saying. Yes, he is. Yeah. F. Nick Khan says Blackheart Jared Reed. Yeah. But it's all gone through Vince. Vince is okay, this man. And Bruce has said, okay, let it go. I remember when Bruce was... I still used to listen to Something to Wrestle when he first went to WWE. Now it's just garbage because he doesn't. It's all about the company line. He was like he'll quite happily promote the Ultimate Warrior even though he hates to do it. It's weird. Yeah, Nick Khan, he's the one that said this, but he's basically gone with a list of Vince and said these are the people that we can save money on. This is who they are, and Vince has gone, okay, we'll do this. Get rid of that. It's not just Nick Khan, it's Vince as well. And it's, yeah, I don't know where you went with the character after what had happened, to be perfectly honest. Maybe the Alexa is the natural progression of it, and maybe we just have to accept that. It's like they're having shoving Reigns and Lashley down the fans' throats. Yes, Reigns especially. If you don't like Roman Reigns, then don't watch SmackDown because it's the Roman Reigns show. It was all a little bit slow for me. That was my only issue. I think Reigns is doing great work, and I think Lashley's doing some fantastic work as well. Certainly using people around Lashley to help him as well. If it wasn't for Gimme a Hug and Wrestle Story, I'm not sure I'd watch WWE. Wrestle Story did a great reaction video. I watched some of that before doing the stream, so go and check it out. Maven's got some great opinions, as Mr. G, as always, our friends at the Wrestle Story. I feel for Kada, as we can't always watch, but WWE is getting to be a slog. Yeah, I feel the same. I absolutely feel the same. Sad, eh? Sad. Fans of it for years, and it's not. She's not got the best experience. No, but if you got the network, you can watch some 97. Get her into some of that. Or watch Eve, Sarah. You know, I mean, Eve wrestling still great. AEW is great. It's hard because for someone like Kada, who's 11, is she 10? Something like WWE is more appropriate for them because it's got the cartoony character outside of it. Maybe she'll get behind Nikki Ash. I don't know. Me too, Sarah. Well, past content was good too. It certainly was. Gage versus Jericho would never be allowed in WWE, whilst AEW is giving fans what they want. Yeah, man. I mean, it's interesting because I was looking at the viewing numbers for that quarter, and it was the second highest rated part of that show. So it wasn't necessarily the highest rating. So some people did turn off, which is fair enough. It's a hardcore match and it's not for everyone. I enjoyed it as a spectacle. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the feel of the show, I think, Gav, this week. I thought like the flow of it was beautiful. Like, give us a hell of a lot of different stuff. A variety show of wrestling. Showed us a big man match. It's a great 5-way elimination with a lot of build and story in it. Just brilliant. Just brilliant. There wasn't just a women's match thrown on for no reason. Well, actually on AEW this week, the kind of was with Thunder Rosa, just a sort of showcase for her against Julie Hill. But so why am I saying that? Because there was. It's true, Vince has to okay it, but it's so apparent Nick is basically the Sean Bean in Game of Thrones. Everyone's going to die. The corporate assassin, yeah, man. So glad I started watching Give Me a Hole. Yeah, you all do a fantastic job. Gab, we're so happy to have you here, man, and I appreciate the entire community. And you kept the stream going for quite a long time. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you, guys, for everyone for joining us. 96 wrestlers across 4 shows seems reasonable. 96 wrestlers across 4 shows. It's hard, isn't it? Because my concern is that there's some really great talent in AEW that's sort of just breaking ground, like Will Hobbs and stuff like that. And I just worry we don't see enough of him. But hey, man, I think Dan's right. Get a trios title in there and see what happens. And maybe Bray will be there. Who knows? I think that AEW needs to use the YouTube more in terms of like getting stories across as well. Like Malachi Black, like let him do his stuff on YouTube as well. Why not? Just let it out there, get the story, put the highlights on Dynamite, give us a catch up. I think that'd be a real good way to get people more invested in the characters as well. Guys, we've been streaming for 1 hour, 15 minutes. Again, if you haven't watched the start of this stream, it has Dom in his car discussing the Fiend and his feelings on it, and you all know what a big mark for the Fiend Dom was. It's a sad day for wrestling, a sad day for WWE, and a sad day for Bray Wyatt, a guy who did well, and I feel that this is going to disenfranchise a lot of people. It's interesting to hear all your comments. All of your comments today have been wonderful. Thank you so much for keeping it respectful in chat as well. A difficult situation, it's someone's job that you're talking about ultimately. And I appreciate hearing all of your opinions, all of your sort of fantasy bookings and stuff. But ultimately, we all want Bray Wyatt to be happy. And however that is, I hope he finds that happiness and or continues with that happiness if he's found it. And we'll see where he goes in the future. Guys, you can subscribe to the channel for more wrestling content. We do try and do videos like this when big breaking news happens. We also do live watch-alongs of Raw, Dynamite, AEW, that's the same thing, SmackDown and stuff like that. We try and do them weekly. So please come and hang out with us and hang out with our wonderful little community. All of our links are in the description as well to Twitter, Facebook, Discord, Patreon. Please go ahead. And guys, I think I'll see you on Wednesday. See what pans out in the 6th week, eh? Until next time, everyone, give me a hull yeah in chat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hull yeah, brother. Hull yeah.
God, I just listened to this whole podcast. It was terrible. I feel like my ears are gonna bleed.
What'd you say? This is Darby Allin, and you're listening to Give Me a Hole Yeah podcast.